I got the chance to review Stovetop Everyday Stuffing Mix, and I thought I'd try it in a family favorite recipe. What we're making today is crunchy chicken crescents, and I'm going to walk you through the process, and the recipe will also be on my blog if you want to try to make it yourself. What I've got here is 2 tablespoons of softened butter or margarine, 2 tubs of cream cheese with chives and onions, and 2 cans of chicken drained. Now, if you prefer, you can always stew your chicken yourself and have that to use, but I'm all about easy, so I'm using canned chicken in my recipe. So it's really simple to get started. We're going to take the cream cheese and empty it into our bowl. Now, I used to hate cream cheese. I don't know why. Never liked cheesecake, none of those. But one day, I saw this recipe in our church cookbook and thought I'd give it a try, and I've loved it ever since. And we take it to parties, and people love it there. It's definitely not a healthy recipe, but it's a fun one, and it's a comfort food kind of thing. Alright, so I've got these 2 tubs of cream cheese emptied out. Now, I'm going to take the butter, get that in there too. Alright. And now I'm going to take the chicken. Now, when you use canned chicken, and I always make sure to get the kind that's the white chicken breast chunks, it is in larger pieces, so when we put it into the bowl, we're going to crush it up a little bit, just to make it easier, because later we're going to be stuffing crescent roll dough with this mixture. This is just the filling. And as a side note, I almost always have a little extra of this filling when I'm said and done. And it's also really good in tortillas to make little pinwheels. You can use it for a lot of different things, but I always like using things for multiple uses so you don't waste anything. So what I'm doing now is mixing the chicken and the cream cheese and the softened butter together, and I'm just going to keep doing that until I get it to a good consistency and the chicken is all nicely broken up. So now our mixture of cream cheese with chives and onions, chicken, and softened butter is all mixed together. It almost looks like a chicken salad or something like that. So now that we've got this filling all ready, we're going to start stuffing our crescent roll dough. I've got 1 tube of these open already. I'm going to use some spray just to make sure that we don't have any sticking to the cookie sheet here. One thing to mention too is while you're doing all of this, go ahead and preheat your oven to 375 degrees so it's ready and waiting for you when you're ready to stick these in. Okay, so we're going to open our crescent roll dough, and then it's simple. It gets a little messy, but that's alright. Okay, we're just going to roll it out, and you know you've got your 8 triangles on each roll of dough here. So we'll just get started with one here. So I'm going to take one of my triangles, lay it down in front of me, and press it out so it's a little bit thinner and a little bit larger than it is when you first lay it down on the cookie sheet. Now, I always just kind of eyeball the amount of mixture to put in each one. I've got a smaller spoon here, and I've got a heaping spoonful. I'm going to take my finger and put it into the center of the dough, and you can see about how much is filled up right now. And there's tons of different techniques for folding. I just try to do anything that covers up all the edges so nothing's open, nothing can leak out. I fold over the shorter edge here and kind of pinch the sides down, and then take the point of the triangle and fold it back over the top, pressing those seams together too. So you end up with a little pocket that's completely sealed, and then you just set it aside and get all 16 of these done. Alright, so we've got all 16 of our crescent roll dough pouches stuffed and folded and sealed. And now we're going to move on to the next phase. Now we're at the last stage of getting our crunchy chicken crescents ready to go in the oven. We've got all 16 of them stuffed, folded, sealed up, ready to go. Now we're going to be dipping them. I have 3 tablespoons of melted butter here in a small bowl. Then I'm going to take my Stovetop Everyday Stuffing Mix, and I'm going to empty that into a cereal bowl that I have here. I always loved Stovetop stuffing when I was growing up. We had that at Thanksgiving, and so it had a very traditional comfort food kind of feel to it in itself. When I discovered this recipe that used it in an unconventional way, I was really excited because I love the flavors of it. In this recipe, you don't cook it, so you're getting the crunchy texture of the stuffing mixture as it comes. Another thing I thought would be really good to try would be putting the stovetop stuffing mix in a food processor and using that as breading on chicken, because the flavor that's in here is really great, and I think that that would add something really special. So I'm going to try that sometime soon, I think. For this recipe, we're going to take each of our crescents and dip it in the butter. You don't have to dip it all the way in. I just dip it enough to get it a little bit covered and then kind of spread that butter around. I don't want to get too much butter on it. I mean, we're already having a lot of great flavor here. We don't need too much more. So then I'm just going to press each of these, after dipping them in the butter, into the stuffing. And I really like to get a lot of good coverage with the stuffing mix because the crunchiness of that really makes the dish for me. The crescent and the mixture inside are all really soft, but the crunch of this provides a nice contrast. And like I mentioned too, the flavor really adds a nice component to it. So now I've got my finished little pouch, kind of looks more like a ball now, and it's covered in the stovetop stuffing. So I'm just going to do all 16 of these, and then we'll be ready to stick them in the oven. When we're done, my hands are sufficiently messy, but we have all 16 of our crunchy chicken crescents ready to go. To go over that again, what we have is 2 cans of chicken, 2 tubs of cream cheese with chives and onion, and 2 tablespoons of melted butter, or softened butter rather, mixed together inside crescent roll dough, and then we've dipped it in melted butter and rolled it in our stovetop everyday stuffing mix. So now what I'm going to do is take these and pop them in the oven, which we've preheated to 375 degrees. Our crunchy chicken crescents are ready. They're golden and the stovetop stuffing is nice and crunchy on the outside of them. I cooked mine for 18 minutes at 375 degrees, but just watch for the color to get golden and then you'll know that you're at about the right time for cooking these. Alright, let's give this a try. First, let me show you what the inside of these look like. You can see you've got the cream cheese and the chicken in there, and I don't know if you can see the steam rising off, but these are hot when you get them out of the oven. So you might want to take them off a little bit earlier than you plan to serve them. If your family takes a while getting to the table, it's okay with these because they stay hot for quite a while. I wish you could smell through the camera, but since you can't, you're just going to have to trust me and try these yourself because I promise you, you will love them. Anyway, be sure and check out stovetop stuffing at your grocery store and think of fun ways you could try it in recipes at your house.